Hello everyone. Today I am bringing you a collection of cards and tags that I created with the PhotoPlay Love Letters collection pack. I purchased the die cuts, the dies paper, and the stamp set. I didn't use the stamp set, I believe, in this, but I will in the future. This first card I'm making actually came off of the dies paper. I've never purchased any paper like this before. To the right was that flag, and then to the left of the card where there was cut out was the pink background plaid paper. So easy. And the paper is a little shiny. It's really, really nice, high quality paper. I was really thrilled with it. I purchased it at cherryontop.com, and here I'm just messing around with different washi tapes, and I actually did cut the black flag out with my flags dies that are just a very inexpensive die set I purchased years ago off eBay. I probably use that set second to my stitched rectangles. I use that set all the time. I just have a hard time cutting a straight line. So anyways, it turned out really cute, and on the dies paper there's a little card that is very similar to show you what to do with the flag and the background paper. So it's all right there for you. I just added a little bit of washi tape to have maybe like a ground or a branch that the birds were sitting on. I thought that looked cute, and you know I'm going to bring some sparkle in if possible. And I love this particular tape. It's from Spellbinders, and it was from their Love collection. They probably still have it. I purchased it after Thanksgiving sale, or the after Thanksgiving sale. And I purchased it for $1. So I grabbed two, and I'd never tried it before, and I really like it. Now, this is a very thick tape and it sticks. The other tape in that collection, not as thick and doesn't stick as well. But still, great value, can't complain, love it. So I just kind of adjust, see where I want these little birds. They're from the die sheet, the die cut die paper. Adorable. I mean, the feet on that little one right there that's sitting, I just want to scream every time I see his little feet. Anyways, they're so dainty. Now here, what I did was I wanted him to hold a letter. And I wanted the other one to hold I kind of was thinking that was a boy and the other one was a girl. And I wanted him to hold a letter, and I wanted her to hold like a box of candy, like they had already exchanged or something. I don't know, so silly. But I cut his wing with my scissors, put that little stamped envelope, which I'll tell you where that's from in a second, under his wing, flipped him over, and taped him with Scotch tape. It sounds like it was tricky. It was very easy. Then when I glued him down with my Tim Holtz glue, his wing stayed put. So it's a seamless you can't tell on the card that any sort of paper cutting happened. It looks like he was manufactured that way. So I gave her a little heart, and that's from the heart dies. I made a bunch more hearts. I cut that out because this video was getting way too long. So I spared that part, you guys, from that part. And I just kind of adjust and I speed this up. So I just assumed love was in the air and they were just happy. Not that that's what Valentine's Day is always about. Sometimes it's just about friendship and, let's be real, chocolate, right? And let's see, the letter, all the hearts are from that die set. You could use any heart. You could use heart confetti, whatever you got. And you could draw hearts, whatever. The little envelope is from, I have the Pretty Pink Posh Love stamp set and coordinating dies. And I use that a lot at Valentine's Day. Oddly enough, I don't use the big love part that often, but I do use the little stamps. They tend to go with everything. And I just purchased that from prettypinkposh.com, and just before I did this voiceover, I looked online, and they still carry it. I'm sure other people carry it. It's a great, very versatile set, especially if you like to color. So anyways, I just did a white letter with a red heart. I'm trying to think which markers I used. I just bought some new markers, and I purchased them from Amazon, and they were inexpensive, and if it comes to me, I'll let you know, because they did not make my archival ink bleed, and I have a lot of trouble with that ink bleeding with my Blick markers, and these, they're like an inexpensive alternative to buying Copics, because I don't color enough to make such an investment. So I scatter some hearts around, and that sweet little card is done. So happy with that one, and I always forget this step. So I went ahead and stamped an inner layer, since it was a black card, and that's always harder to go back, like if you're in a rush. You're like, oh, I can't just stamp the white card. I got to get out a die and this and that. And so I went ahead and finished that. I was so excited that one can go in the mail. And my daughter said, can I have that one? I said, okay. So that one's not going to go in the mail, but it has a happy home in her room on her dresser. Let's see. Next, I decided I wanted to use, I remember when I got the paper and I did a video, I said, I want to try and recreate this love. So I went ahead and made a card with it to see if it looked as good as I thought it was going to. I really liked it. So the next card I make is me using what I've got, trying to recreate a big L with the letters, and you'll have to let me know if you like how it turned out. I think it looks cool, but you never know. But I would love to know if other people think, oh, wow, that turned out good, or yeah, maybe not. So just cutting out my background paper, which I absolutely love this striped paper. I wish I could buy a case of it. I just love it. And by the way, I had so much fun with these Valentines. I think that's why the video is so long. So feel free to press fast forward, skip through, especially to the things you're not interested in. And also tell me, you know what? It might be easier to watch if you had things already cut out and you just placed them, but I never know. I just was playing and there was no real preparation for this video, just turned on my camera and just went along with it. And didn't that turn out to be a cool frame for something? Anyways, every now and then, sometimes I'll use my scraps if I can get them cleaned up on the edges as a frame. So I just love this. I love those mailboxes, and I used my Simon Says stamp stitched rectangle dies. They're good dies, but they don't work with my scrapbook.com die platform that I purchased, so I have to use my plates, and I think it's specific to those dies. I think there's something very intricate on them that it won't cut the edges completely. So otherwise, I love that that die platform that's supposed to save your plates, because it's such a smoother transition through the machine. I hated covering up those mailboxes, but they looked really good poking out from behind that stripe. And I don't know, I just think of love notes in mailboxes, even though kids exchange them at school. I'm wondering if kids will be doing that this year, because that love right there from the cut apart sheet, to me it looks like kind of the Valentines I used to give away as a kid, and how we had the envelopes, and I wish they still sold those little envelopes. So I'm going to try to create an envelope. I have the We Are Memory Keepers. It's an envelope and I think a box platform. I don't know. I always come out with square envelopes. I don't know if it's me or if that's how it makes it, but I haven't devoted enough time to it, because I typically do an A2 or a 4x6, and I have envelopes for that. So anyways, just scatter around a few little hearts and make it cute. And that one's done. That one was an easy one. So see, that one I need to go back and stamp later, but I just wanted to keep moving. So here is where I'm trying to create the L. So I got out my Dina Wakley stencils, and that I cut 2 L's that I outlined from the stencil. I did not like them. They weren't large enough. And I have a scan and cut. If I had a thought to plug that thing in, I probably could have gotten an L, but I forget about my scan and cut. It's not plugged in, it's on a shelf, and I find it hard to work with. Anyways, so what I did is I said, what can I do to get an L? It's basically a rectangle, and then I thought, I got it. I will take 2 of my rectangular stitch dies, and I will make a frame and then cut that frame in half so that I have 2 L's. So that gave me a large enough L that I can then scatter an OV and an E. And I put mine in a different order than they put theirs. But I don't think it matters. I think you could put them in any direction. And if I had have used a larger card, I could have put them like in a complete line. So it would be L and then the OVE. It would be really cute. But I thought this was fun. This was just a challenge. I like to kind of do that. I didn't use that. That's the Handmade Bigs die. I recently purchased that because Sizzix had that on sale. I wind up using, which one did I use? I wrote it down. Let me check my notes. The Sizzix Bigs billboard alphabet die. So I like those billboard letters. They turn out really cool. And I didn't know that O was so big on there. I take 2 round dies or circle dies and try to make my own O, but it looked better because the A2 card only had so much room. It looked better with the pre-cut dies. So you'll see me go back and forth. I tried to speed this up. I just wanted to show you what that O looked like because it turned out really cool. And I just kind of wanted to show you the process of how I went through it. Now, I would love feedback if you guys are like, oh no, we don't need to see that. Just go ahead and crop that out next time. That would be great. But I thought you'd want to see how I did the L because you don't have to have, really for the L, the O, the V, and the E, you don't have to have letter dies. You can make them. And it would be very simple. You just have to, the way you put them together, just have to make it look clean. Kind of like miter the edges, and then it would look perfect. So the white piece of paper is a Doris die that I recently purchased off Etsy from the nicest shop owner. And she closed her shop right after my purchase, but I absolutely love these Doris dies, and they come on a magnetic sheet. Like, that's the most fantastic thing ever, and I don't think they make them anymore. But her name was something, I'll think of it. So I just wanted to give her a little shout out, but I can't remember her name. Oh, she was so nice. It was the nicest transaction, and the mail took forever to get to me, and she notified me, and then I let her know, no, I don't have it. She notified me it was running late, and then did I receive it? And it was a really nice transaction. So I'm sad that she doesn't have a shop anymore, but I got some great dies and had a nice couple of conversations with her. Chili Lily, that was her name. So if Chili Lily is listening, thank you for my dies. I love them. And they were at a great price too. And she offered free shipping. I mean, once somebody offers me free shipping, I have to buy enough to get it. I love that option. So here I put it on the the paper that was all the hearts. And I actually have a die that kind of mimics those hearts. So I'm going to try to play with that die and that heart paper and see if I come up with anything. But here you can see I'm just like, I don't know, how am I going to put these? How are they going to fit? Can you read it? But it winds up coming together. I stuck one letter down first. I think the V. I think I just said, you know what? I'm just going to stick down the V. It was either the V or the O, and then just roll with it because I didn't want to invest too much time. And even though it looks like my fingers aren't moving that fast, I did speed it up. This was the most time-consuming card. And the card I make after this looks like it would be the most time-consuming, and it really came together easily. I was so thrilled with it. Now this V, once the card's done, you'll notice the V kind of blends in. So I will show at the end where I wound up cutting another V in glitter pink paper that I had and put it on top, and now it sticks out a little better. So the placement of this, I got really lucky. The placement was perfect to sit the birds on. And I used the birds from that die sheet. And it is so simple. I think every company should sell die sheets. I've never seen this before. And I absolutely love it and would just buy boatloads of it with the dies. And I mean, I'd get the stamps too to have them, but it was so easy. It made life so easy and card making so fast. And they probably exist and other card makers make them. I just haven't seen them. But thank you, Simple Stories, for making that. And if you guys grab one of those, you'll love it if you have the dies. I guess you could use it if you had a scan and cut, but my issue with my scan and cut is the sheet that you run through that adheres the paper to. I've bought multiple of them and they don't last that long, and so it's just my paper moves and it cuts things in the wrong directions. So I put the little birds on, and I apologize for coming off screen occasionally. In this video, I just kind of was in the zone and not really paying attention to the camera. But look, they sit right there on those letters, perfect, and are just the cutest little things ever. And just added a few more hearts and all the hearts I cut, those were plain paper hearts, and I just kind of wanted you guys to see, for people who don't like glitter. I had cut them. I wanted to see what they look like, but then of course I default to glitter, so we made it cute. Very nice and sparkly. And that was it. Once I did it, like, I could crank that out fast now because I've done it, because I figured it out. It just was the initial figuring out which letters to use and where to place them. It's cute, right? It's different, but it was inspired by their love cut apart, which I love. Okay, so now this one, for Christmas, I received Cat Scrappiness as a gift, not from Cat Scrappiness, but I received those slimline dies, those nested slimline dies, and I wanted to use them because I like making the slimline cards, but I don't feel like they look as finished because I didn't have any dies that kind of crimp those corners and make them look so finished. This was so easy to make. I made my own card, and I did 4 1/8 by 9 1/2 for the measurements on my card. So that's the folded card, 4 1/8 by 9 1/2. So when you cut your paper, you'd have what? 8 1/4 by 9 1/2. And then just fold it in half, use my bone folder, and then I use this die. And it looks to me like it is maybe a 1/2 inch, 1/4 of an inch. If you're trying to make it yourself, I'd go down 1/4 of an inch, lay it down, and you can always cut again. And I had these scrapbook.com dies that I had just bought this year because I have no heart dies. And I wanted to do 3 hearts in a row on that paper and have the ephemera kind of sticking out. And I'm trying to think, I think I used that die cut paper for this. The dies paper. I mean, that was the most handy thing to have. The letters are from there, the mailbox, and then, yeah, the little bottles. So it's funny when you're creating, you tend to go for, or I tend to go for the same thing. Like I keep going back. Like if the first time was really rewarding, that I go back again. So that was a wonderful purchase for Valentine's Day. And you get a ton on that piece of paper. And I bought more than one piece, so I will have it for years to come, or if I decide to do more projects this year. I will be doing more cards and tags, but I'm not sure what I'm doing. So I made these 4 cards, and a very nice subscriber left me a comment that she would love to see cards and tags. And I thought, let's make some tags, because on all the little Valentine gifts you can purchase, you can always tie a tag. And I find a tag to be a little less lovey-dovey than a card. Like, a lot of the Valentine paper that's out there is very lovey-dovey, and it confuses me because you get a huge 12 by 12 sheet of, Be Mine and Forever Love and all that. And I'm thinking, you only need 1 or 2 of those, right? And then the rest should be more generic. But, I guess we can cut and trim and paste around it. So look at the fabulous hearts I got just from cutting hearts out of my top layer. It just, and I didn't measure. I tried to center the center heart. And that's why I used the ruler is it close enough? It was close enough. And I went with it. And my goal was to make this fun and simple. And if it didn't turn out perfect, it was just something I was trying. It really did turn out very uniform. And it kind of, to me, I'm going to look at it. I have it sitting right here. It looks like something that a machine cut, and then I assembled it. So very happy with those cat scrappiness dies, and very happy to have received them as a Christmas gift. And also with those dies, I received as my gift the little like rolling hills, like for grass or snow. So I'm so excited to use that as well. I may wind up, this might be a good idea, to do a video and make a card with those 2 dies, just to kind of show the versatility, as I feel like I can use it for so much. So love them. They cut great too. Then here I'm just trying to place and figure out, do I want to do, the initial intent of this was to place them like this, but they looked really good sitting on the hearts. So I wanted you guys to see, if you didn't feel like doing this part, just take 3 hearts, stick them down, stick your whatever ephemera or design you have on top, because the stamps would work great with this too. The ephemera would work great. This is a very easy to work with little design that I came up with. It just, it's funny how you can have idea, and then you can bring it to life. It's very rewarding and so much fun. And it does take a little while to get used to, what is possible and what isn't. As I remember, my first card I made, if I'm recalling correctly, was for Valentine's Day. And I took a big foam glitter heart and stuck it on a piece of white paper and had it on black cardstock and stamped Happy Valentine's Day. And I think that is when the madness began, and I continued to try more and more things, because it's not expensive. And if you love crafting, you have some of this stuff already. Oh, let's see. Back to what I'm doing. I took my scrapbook.com double-sided foam strips, which I love, 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 love those foam strips, and super sped this up because I think this one's going in the mail, and I wanted to make sure that it did not get crushed. And I love the fact that you could put this in a business envelope, and you can buy fancy envelopes, but sometimes I'm just like, oh my gosh, my cart is getting kind of full and kind of expensive. And if I have something at home I can use, I need to save money for dies and ephemera and stickers. So, envelopes, I'm going to have to start focusing on making envelopes because I love it when I see people make the decorative envelopes. Oh my gosh, they're so beautiful. So now I made an envelope for Halloween, and I had to trim that bottle a little bit to get it fit. It was a black envelope. I Googled it. It said you could write with white ink on it. Mailed it, and it was very clear white paint marker. 2 months later, it gets returned to my mailbox. Recipient unknown. And it was for a relative, and I let them know, I'm so sorry you didn't receive your letter, your Halloween letter, but she had already just gotten her Christmas card. Okay, so here is a different set. I practiced this. So this was in my quest to do something a little different. I wanted to do a tag with a pocket, so I did like a library card type of thing. This one's a little taller and skinnier. I was just playing because that tag I had was already, it was part of an ephemera kit. And these are both from, let's see, PhotoPlay Love Notes. I bought that kit a couple of years ago, and I just had some left over, and I don't really have that much scrapbook paper. I tend to kind of use up what I've got, then buy more, because I have a hard time finding papers I like. For some reason, this year, all of the paper companies just hit it out of the park, and all of the paper is good this year. It's just like I want every designer line that has been made, but it's not possible. I have to pick and choose. And anyways, where would I store it all, right? And how could I use it? The pressure, oh my gosh. So anyways, I practiced on those. Those were my first two that I made. They came out great. So I thought, well, this wasn't hard. Let's try it with this set. And my idea is that if I were to give somebody maybe a jar of candy, a bottle, you know how sometimes they make the bottles of like Jelly Bellies and it kind of looks like a champagne bottle. And I thought this would be so easy to tie on the top and, have a little Happy Valentine's Day and just drop it off on their front porch, text them that they have a surprise, because I had people do that for me at Halloween and at Christmas, and it was delightful to get a little something just right there on my front porch. So I thought this was a pretty, I'd ink the edges, but first I round the corners. That's my only corner rounder. I cannot buy more tools. I just use what you have. I only have so much room. And that's that little envelope maker. And I need to focus on how to use it because, like I said, I always get a square envelope. Anyways, and it could be the shapes I'm making because I'm using unusual shapes, so it might only be possible to get a square envelope. But I need rectangle. That I'm always wanting a rectangular envelope, not a square. Anyway, so it's very simple. You cut out a base, and the base I made was 3.5 inches by 7 inches. And then I scored at the 2.5 inch mark and made a fold. And then you can come in a 1/2 inch, or you can come in right under a 1/2 inch. And there's lots of library card tutorials on how to do these. And it's like once you do one, it's like, oh, that was simple. And just cut those little angles off the pocket, those edges off the pocket, and it gives you a little bit more room. And I also noticed you can fit a gift card in them. So that's nice. Especially if you were to give someone maybe someone young who's, on a fixed income, and, give them a little box of chocolate or something cute, their favorite soda, and then tie this around the top, and, have it be just like a grocery store card. I mean, you never know what is going to thrill someone. In my 20s, well, let's see, I'm trying to think what I was in college. In college, if somebody had given me a gift card to the grocery store or a gas card, I would have been jumping for joy. Sometimes just bare necessities are wonderful to receive and greatly appreciated. So a Target card, that would be great. You can get anything. So I just picked those two papers, and then I decorated them. And none of this was planned. I grabbed that out, that fit, so went with that. I grabbed out the bird because I loved that. It fit. This I don't use, but it looks really cute. I wound up thinking my goal is to kind of start using more of the sticker sheets because they're so fantastic. But I wanted to make this pop, and I choose a scalloped circle. And I looked at it with red glitter, and I looked at it with silver glitter, and I just preferred the silver. I thought it kind of made it look like a little spotlight was on him. And I went really hard with the bird on my cards. And my intention, I knew I loved the bird, but I really thought I was going to do more with the little bottles. So I'm not done with this set. I will keep creating. But I probably will not record. And if I come up with something fantastic, I will make that one item again and record it and try to have it a little more organized, because my craft desk is a bit messy. I mean, look at all, but you can tell when you see a desk that looks like that, fun is being had. But when it gets so messy, you sit like your scissors down and you're like, where are they? It's time to take a break, clean up. So I used a little score tape. I used a lot of score tape with these tags. And that was just a scrap piece of black laying next to my paper trimmer. See how nice I hadn't cleaned up from Christmas, and I still had scraps, so that's nice. But I do need to, oh my goodness, I do need to clean up. It's just not fun to do. So here I went in I have some, like a box with jewelry, charms, and beads and bracelet things like that. And one year I made little Valentine bracelets for my daughter's teacher, and then for a couple of neighbors. And I had some charms left over. They are from Oriental Trading. And they still have some of the charms, but they don't have the exact ones I bought because, gosh, she was 5 and now she's 9. So use my Tim Holtz glue to make sure that sticks on the front of that well. I would definitely use a liquid glue for the front of that. While it's drying, I just kind of looked at these and thought, how can I use these stickers? And it occurred to me, they're blending in. Maybe I can put them on some black cardstock, trim them out, and then they'll pop. And that worked. So it kind of turned a sticker into a piece of backed ephemera. And I just thought black was really nice. And when my daughter saw it, she said, oh, wow. When she pulled the tag out, she said, oh, wow, you made this fancy too. I like that. So I mess around with the placement. And once I decide, I pick out 2 more stickers and then glue it down. Simple, simple. And on this one, I used just black string, or not string, I used black ribbon, and that's very thin, maybe 1/4 inch ribbon. And on the next ones, I used like a tinsel that I purchased from Amazon. But as I was doing this, I just kind of was like, I really want to really upgrade these tags and make these tags more than just a simple tag. I want them to be kind of stand alone and sturdy. So I wind up purchasing the We Are Memory Keepers fuse tool, and I will bring that out. Now, it's the first time I've ever used this. I've always looked for an excuse, but I thought, you know what? If you drop off something on someone's front porch and you have a paper tag, it could possibly get warped, or it could from the weather, or it could possibly get wet. And so I thought, if I could cover these in plastic, and then I was like, yes, I have a reason to buy this tool I have always wanted. Went on Amazon, purchased the tool, and purchased the 12 by 12 clear sheets that go along with it. And like I said, I had never used it before, so I wouldn't say that it's a tutorial on that We Are Memory Keepers tool. I would say it's more of a, oh, so that's how it's going to go the first time. That's not bad. It did. It went swimmingly. It does exactly what it's supposed to do. It is a soldering iron with a wheel on the end of it. Now, that is a simple explanation of what it is, but that is what it looks like to me. Like, once I got it in my hands, I thought, my mom used to make stained glass window pieces and jewelry boxes and things like that, and I thought, this looks like her soldering iron. And FYI, that thing gets hot, and the tube on it, like you'll see where it's like a pencil, oh my gosh, it gets hot. Like, I barely tapped it, and you know you've touched it. And I didn't get burned, but if I had kept my hand there too long, I would have gotten burned. So again, I round some corners just to make things look a little more finished. You don't have to do that. There was no reason other than I just thought, oh, that might be cute. And so those little pieces are all stuck down. I backed everything. And they're not cut perfect. The heart is, because I used a die, but you cannot tell. The pattern's just way too busy, and no one's going to look at it. Look at that. I used my heart from where I cut out from the other card, and I knew I wanted to use those, but it's so nice once you've been working for a while, like making cards, and you have little scrap pieces, how everything just kind of, especially if you stay with the same paper pack, everything just kind of starts to go together, and you can use your little extras. And then at this point, I think, oh, this needs a little something, so I put some rhinestones. And I make 10 in total, and I included this one as 2 because it's a library card tag. And then on the inside, that has a tag because I might use that as a gift card holder. And the other tag, and the tag that's on the inside, I might use that just as a tag. So that would be a very simple tag just to make from the products you've got, from anything. And I keep going with that tag. I wind up pulling it out. And I spent a lot of time on this one. When I say a lot of time, probably like an hour. And that's why the video kind of focuses on this. So this is a pack of brads from Spellbinders. And I think this is also from that Love set that was very inexpensive. I noticed they sent me an email last night that they were having a sale, and I noticed they still had these in stock, and they are on sale again. So I think this is how they work. They do a sale, and they have really great prices, and they take everything off sale and sell them at regular price. This white glitter tape is also Spellbinders. I purchased all this stuff on the after Thanksgiving sale or Christmas sale because I knew I was going to be doing Valentine stuff, and I mean, it's the right color. So I went and got them, and they were so inexpensive. Now the brads, I'm thinking, are maybe $2 and change, but they're really nice quality. And I used my Crocodile Big Bite to put the top one in, then I cover it in that glitter tape. And after I got done with the video recording, I go back and put a little bird on the back of that tag. Okay, so there's the We Are Memory Keepers. And I was like, where are the instructions? They're inside that panel. And that was a very important point. heat this up for 10 minutes. So I'm like, 10 minutes? So I was ready to go. And so I got out some things, cut my plastic, figured out which tags I wanted to use. And the one with the envelope is a cut apart that I used a tag die on. And the piece to the right was actually a piece of scrap paper that I just cut with a tag die. So there. So this is the first one that I've ever done. So I have it on one of those self-healing mats that you can use like an X-Acto knife. And don't do that because it melted it a little bit. Now, in no way is it damaged forever. It melted a little bit, and I thought, oh, this is not the proper material. And I have a silicone baking mat from Crate and Barrel that I always use for when I'm doing distress inks and messy stuff that I need water on. And that's what I'll pull in, and that thing is bulletproof. You could sit and iron on it because, it can go in an oven. So this one took a little bit longer just because I was trying to figure out the speed, and I just wanted to make sure all the walls of it were taking. And look at that. And it could be because I'm using their plastic paper. So I'm using their actual product. And these little gems, these sequins, these inspired me to do the shaker bits. Other than I wanted them to kind of be weatherproof, and I wanted to do shakers. That's why I got the fuse tool. This would be great for when you make distress ink or watercolor. Anything that water will damage, you can put those behind this paper, like in a tag or however, a keychain, however you want to do it. And they're not sturdy, but they're covered and protected by the elements. And I tend to put things like this on like boards, like tech boards and chalkboard things that are magnet. I like to have little things like that hanging off. I have little crisscross ribbons on one of mine, and I just shove little tags in it, and it's really cute, and I love that. Anytime someone gives me something, these would be great for Christmas, and then people could hang them on their tree like an ornament. And I'm going to try to do some in hearts. So hearts, circles, squares, rectangles, whatever. And you notice I didn't use the ruler because I had that pad underneath it and it gave me lines. I don't know, I wasn't, since it was brand new, I wasn't thinking, I can use the edge of the ruler. And also I wanted to see where my project was in relation to where the heat tool was. But I think once I get more used to it, I will use the straight edge on that ruler. So, and it came with that round tool to make the sleeves, but it also came with one that kind of looks like I put too many in there, so I had to kind of take some out. It was getting too stuffed. I noticed it came with one that actually cuts. So I'm not sure what you would use the cutting. It's like a ballpoint pen tip, and I'm not sure what you would use that for, but I'm sure I'll figure it out. And if anybody knows, just shoot me a comment that says you use it for this, and then I'll say, oh my gosh, thank you. So sorry for my head getting in there. I just wanted to make sure it was all lined up. And I didn't notice it was damaging my pad until the end. So it's so subtle, the damage that it did to it. So subtle. And look at that, you just trim off the edges. And if you were to, for some reason, cut your seam, you could probably just resolder it or refuse it. Isn't that cute? I mean, are you kidding me? It was so cute. I just turned on my camera. I wasn't sure I was going to add it in the video, but it just turned out so cute and Valentine. I just loved it. Yes, yeah, look at the ruler like, well, why didn't I use this? Oh, well, and set it aside. Because you don't really need it, I don't think, if you don't have to be so perfectly straight. And I found that one pass worked. You can see if it's taking, you just can see. So I just kind of put that white paper as a guide, like it made a nice line between the paper on the tags, and then I could just do a relatively straight line on the side. But these aren't meant to be built for any sort of like horseplay. They're just meant to, you know, be a cute little tag that says, I'm thinking about you, and hope you have a nice Valentine's Day. And the way I plan on writing to and from is you could write with a Sharpie on the outside. You could write it before you ever inserted it, and you could back the tag in white. But I liked the print on both sides because the sequins will go on both sides, and I should have filled both sides. That would have been really cute, but I didn't. I would just plan on using a label, either a label die and run it through my Xyron to make it sticky, or a sticker label, because I know I have some scrapbook.com sticker labels, and gosh, I'm sure there's probably some sticker labels in the sticker sheet that you could write on, that you could, you know, squeeze something on there real cute. So isn't that pretty on the back? And I loved that the little bottle shows on the smaller tag. Because like I said, I really was like, I got to do something with the bottle. And I pulled out my Tim Holtz Bigs die that is 3 bottles. And I ran them off in pink, let's see, 3 different shades of pink paper. And they looked really cute. But I thought I need to do something a little better with this to make it match these. So I didn't really have time to really figure that out. However, you could take the plain bottle, fill it with these sequins, put the fuse around it, stick a couple of stickers on it, throw maybe a piece of bottle ephemera down in there, and voila, there you go. You've got a cool tag that's shaped like a bottle. I mean, it is endless. I cannot believe I waited this long to buy this tool, but you know, since we've all been stuck at home, it's just, you have more time to think about all the fun things you could do with your stuff. And those little bottles I bought of sequins, I bought from Target. I think they might be We Are Memory. I don't know. They are whatever brand that Target sells, some name brand craft items, and I bought them because they were bottles. And I never stick sequins on my cards. I always tend to go for gems, and it was just perfect to have so many. Like when I was searching through my Valentine stuff, those larger bottles are all Valentine. I bought them, I think, from Tuesday Morning years ago. And they might be tonic, I'm not sure. But I thought, I have got to use these. And I don't know, Valentine's Day is just so whimsical and pretty. And it shouldn't be so much focused on love as I think it should be focused on friendship and fun and candy and just the silliness that the shape of Cupid. I mean, he's so funny. Like, it's a baby. You know, it's crazy. Anyways, so I was intent on having tinsel ribbon. Searched and searched and searched. Found it on Amazon. And it said it was wire. And I thought, you know what, I'm just going to have to see. Maybe I'll trim it. If it's wire, I'll trim the edge of the tags and just make them, like I wanted fuzzy, crazy, over the top. And it wasn't wire. It was wire free. When I got it, it was just a few days ago. This all happened within the week that I ordered it, made it, went back to reorder it, all sold out. So I purchased another one. This was a red, silver, and gold set. So I purchased a different one. It was less, and it was less material, but more colors. So it was 4 colors. So they added a green in there. So it was very Christmas. And if it winds up being the wire free, then I will let you guys know in the next time I'm using this, or the next video. Now, on this one, I think that I have pulled out my crocodile and I put an eyelet in that. The eyelet, I think I pressed way too fast. And the eyelet, the teeth on it kind of came on the inside. So I had to tie that. I had to, and I edited it out because it was like, oh no, how do I fix this? And I just tied a knot in the string, then tied the string around it. And now nobody will pinch their fingers or get injured on that little eyelet. It's completely covered. Now, if they disassemble it, they'll see that the teeth on it were not sharp. So the other one, I did not use an eyelet. I just wanted to see, will the sequins fall out if I don't use an eyelet? These are the first two I've ever made. No, they're not. They don't fall out. I think the sequins are just too big and the ribbon is too fuzzy and takes up too much space. So cute. So happy with them. I mean, can you take it? Both sides are adorable. I put stickers on the one and then added some gems, and they are stuck down. Now, I think it's because of the brand I purchased. I don't know if just inexpensive photo sleeves would work. I don't know. I've never stuck stickers to that, but these cardstock stickers are stuck down. I think if you have quality paper and quality adhesive, I think you're going to be gold on these projects. So I got out my little bird and cut him out. And when I was cutting this paper, I was cutting it on my Tim Holtz guillotine, and the black on the bird kept like flecking off, so I had to trim him down pretty good. So here and then I cut on the, I don't know if you call that journal card paper, where the pink bottles and the floral arrangement were on. But this kind of bounced around because I got called away twice and then had to come back. So I had to turn off my phone, move my phone, and so sorry for it jumping around a little bit. I still have my We Are Memory Keepers fuse tool there. So here I thought, oh, it would be pretty if I put some washi tape on this paper. And I wanted to do an easy card like that. You don't have to. You could stick it down. It could be done. You could handwrite Happy Valentine's Day. And I think it would be a lovely card. But I just tend to like the glitter. And when I got it on there, I didn't feel like the washi tape was as glittery as I wanted or as straight as I wanted it. So I put a couple more pieces on it to kind of straighten it out. And that is, I believe, Spellbinders from that Love washi tape that I purchased. I bought a ton of washi tape and threw it in that little mason jar for Valentine's Day, and I'm kind of forgetting where each one came from. This was a very thin washi tape. I actually had to put a little bit of glue on the ends to keep it down. I love that red and white heart paper on the back of that. Sometimes you hate to, but you have to make a choice, right? And the bottles, I just love those bottles. They're so pretty. And back to the shaker cards, I took the Pretty Pink Posh love letter stamp. It's a little letter, the one that I put under the bird's wing, and I stamped it on some vellum. I used some archival ink and I heated it. I didn't know if that would work, but it did. I heated it and then I die cut it, and all I did was color the little heart seal. And those are, if you made a tag like with the mailbox, like if I had have turned that bird on the mailbox into a tag and then put the We Are Memory Keepers fuse tool and stuff around it, I have little love letter shaker bits. And I used vellum. I stamped it on vellum. And then I used I don't know why I can't remember the name of the markers that I just bought. I bought them from Amazon, but it was all shades of pink. Anyways, hopefully I'll think of it before the video's over. But if not, I will show them. It seems like they're made by Craft Essentials. Oh, I'm trying to think. Anyways, the marker didn't bleed on the vellum. The ink didn't bleed. It's archival ink. It did not bleed on the vellum. And it made really cute pieces for a shaker card. So here I just stamped Happy Valentine's Day from the stamp set onto a flag and put it on some double-sided foam tape, and that card is done. And I took this as a scrapbook.com glitter pen. And it is the most beautiful shade of silver glitter. I have the other pen that everybody uses, and it's more of a champagne color. And it's nice. This one is a full-on silver. It looks like you just mined for silver, crushed it, and then put it on your project. It is beautiful. And they gave that to me free with a recent purchase. So Wink of Stella is the other one. That's more of a champagne-y gold color. This one is silver, and it is packed with pigment silver color. It's magnificent. I love it so much. I think it's like a $5 value, a $5 item. It's probably the one that I'll be using all the time. And it has a lot of little shaker beads in it to really shake it up and get it mixed up well. Okay, so here I wanted to do a tag that wasn't so elaborate, but it still packed a nice punch. So I cut out a plain white tag out of Bristol board and stuck that adorable cut apart from the cut apart sheet on it. And I used, in order to keep it together, because if it's going to be a tag and it's going to be swinging from something, I wanted it to be sturdy and not tear. So I like to back mine with Bristol board. You could use cardstock too, and you could use whatever color you wanted. And just trim it off to fit. And it was simple as that. I just picked my patterns. Now that Happy Valentine's Day came from a cut apart, and it was all those little hearts over there, that black background and the different colored white and pink and red hearts, that was on there, and I trimmed it out to the best I could. Trimming something straight is just, I have issues with that. If I can't get it on my paper trimmer, I typically tend to not like it. So this one I got pretty straight. It took many, many tries, and I got it pretty straight, but then I stick it on crooked. And I had used the scrapbook.com double-sided tape, so it was on there. So I punch a hole. Is that not adorable? And that was simple. And I thought, well, that's cute. I'll stick that right there. And ta-da, there we go. We have a card. I'll embellish it, and not a card, a tag. I'll embellish it and see what we come up with. Well, it went on crooked, and I tried. I tried to not notice that it was crooked. First, it was not centered. Then it was crooked, and it just was not meant to be for that little quote. So you will see how I fix that. And it winds up being a happy accident, because I think it looks better without it, and then put the Happy Valentine's Day on the back. Either write it or stamp it. So I make some hearts, and I do not think I show that. I think I just off screen kind of do some hearts and then put them on the mat. And I made them with my red glitter paper, and the hearts are so tiny, just using scraps that I have laying from after Christmas on the table. I need to create like a bin that has different colors of scraps, but I feel like that might take up too much space. If any of you guys have a solution for saving your larger pieces of scraps that have that you can still access but won't take up a lot of space, I'm thinking I'm going to have to toss my scraps, and I really don't want to do that. So I mess around with the placement of these, but seriously, the crooked Happy Valentine's Day was just messing with me. Like, it was so white and askew, and everything else was so perfectly lined up. I thought it looks like it was an afterthought. and I had to take it off. And something that I discovered is that I've never really peeled off something that I have stuck down with the score tape. The score tape kind of stayed on most of the tag. So I wind up covering it with red glitter washi tape. So now I feel pretty secure that that washi tape's not coming off, because there's score tape behind it, and I think I glued it. Isn't that cute? So I hope you guys like the cards that I came up with. And I hope you guys, if you get this kit, you have as much fun as I have had with it. And I hope it inspires you to just get out what you've already got. You know, even practicing in that pack from years past, it made me remember how much I loved that paper and how much fun I had creating with that paper. And I had just as much fun with that set as I had with this set when I was making those practice library cards. So at this point, I think the tag, I've just had it with that. I can't take it. I can't work around it. It needs to come off. So I very, very gently peeled it off. And I think it came off because it was all back to Bristol board. So it was very sturdy. I think if it just had have been just the paper, I may have had a problem. So I look at the stickers and I see a sentiment, but it's too small. So I thought, what can I put over this that will be equally as fabulous as one of these stickers? And my old reliable glitter washi tape that I just adore, it worked perfectly. And I'm trying to use more washi tape. I ordered a whole bunch of washi tape on sale after the holidays, and I'm going to try to incorporate that just to kind of give more borders and things like that into my projects. But look, and it trims off so simple, so easy to trim. And then I finish up with my hearts, and this tag is done. And I will do a recap and show everything that I made. Once this one's complete, I put some of that tinsel string in the top. And I just love that string. I wish I could purchase that in bulk. I just love it in all colors of all shades of red and pink and white. Even black, because oh, wouldn't that look good on Halloween? And it's really easy to maneuver and tie. So here is the final recap. And if you have a favorite, oh, please let me know. And if you have anything you wish I had have done, let me know, because I still will be playing with this. And like I said, I can do just a single video. It's hard to do a voiceover for an hour video, but I thought I did too many unusual things. There's the glitter V, so I think you can see it a little better. I did too many unusual things to just say, okay, made some stuff and then do some music. And there's the tag with the little bird on the back. I added the bird. And I am just so thrilled that Valentine's Day is a little less than a month away, and I'm pretty much set. And I hope it inspires you guys to get cracking on your Valentines and have some fun. And if you like what I came up with, click subscribe, see what I come up with next. Thanks so much for watching, and have a wonderful Valentine's Day.